Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. We're still getting this thing started. This morning has been so busy. I didn't even put out the notifications to anybody. Because the morning has been too busy. It's been too busy. So hold on. Maybe I can get that out still. Some mornings just gotta be like this. Studio. Content. Live. Yes, I am live. Thank you for telling me. I know that I'm live. Hello, JP. Good to see you in the chat. I'm not even ready to start yet, but you know what? Here we are. It's just been a rough weekend overall. And I'm just behind on absolutely everything. I can't even start a live stream right. Live now. Hopefully finishing the Wheel of Time module. Maybe. Copy. And paste. And paste. JP's like, you good? It's like, nah, fam. Nah, I'm pretty far from good. I'm pretty far from okay here. Okay. Is that good? Am I okay now? Did I push that out to everybody? I think I did. Yeah, I'm having a what's the guy's name? Marcel Wallace moment, I think. I don't know. I've seen Pulp Fiction exactly once in my life, and it's like, okay, I saw it. Now I never have to see it again. I'm not going to say that Pulp Fiction is a bad movie. I'm just going to say it's a highly overrated movie. It's not bad, but it's also not the masterpiece that everyone thinks it is. Hello, Blizz. Good to see you in the chat. See, this is why I have trust issues with YouTube. I now know that I have at least 3 people in the chat because I'm in there, because this is how I can actually watch the chat, but it tells me there's only 2 people watching. This is why I have trust issues. Let's go ahead and make that bigger so I can actually read it. There we go. Okay, now switch back to OBS. Well, JP says he got notifications. That's great. I'm glad to hear that YouTube is still doing that. I'm always worried that they're just going to say, yeah, we're tired of you now. Especially after I had that one person who last week decided they took one look at my live lectures and just said, you're one of those people. It's like, yeah, I am one of those people. What do you mean by those people? It's like, you're one of those just dirty people. And then just unsubscribed from the channel, canceled their Patreon, just pulled out everything. And it's like, what? Now you're going to go flag everything else I've ever done for harassment or something? Oh no. YouTube will take away all the money they're not giving me. Alright. So I think we can drop the starting soon. We're starting now. Hello, Shadowcat back. Hopefully finishing up the whole Wheel of Time module today. We only have one thing left to do. And that is, we must find a way to make Teleron Riyadh a thing in Pathfinder. Which should not be hard. I don't think, anyway. but it's probably going to involve a lot of rules. Because we have like an entire page on the wiki for Teleron Riyadh. And so we're going to have to adapt everything mechanically over to the game. So speaking of which, let's go ahead and bring it up. So there's that. And there's our module. So we're looking at Teleron Riyadh, and that's as far up as I can go. It says, Teleron Riyadh, the unseen world, also known as the world of dreams or the wolf dream. It's a parallel world where all possibilities connect. Yeah, we get that. So there's the history of it. I don't really care about the history of it. Things that we need to look at. Entering Teleron Riyadh. Anyone can enter the world of dreams while sleeping. And those who brush up against it in their sleep often do not know what they're doing. These people usually do not stay for more than a few seconds. Many people awake with pains and bruises they cannot explain, caused by taking small injuries in Teleron Riyadh. Dreamwalkers, however, can enter the world at will while sleeping, as well as those who hold certain Turang Rial. Some Dream Turang Rial do not even require channeling to activate them, and thus Teleron Riyadh can also be accessed by those who do not channel. Another way is to access the world of dreams to create a gateway into it from the waking world. And we've seen that Rand can do that. We've also seen that Perrin can somehow do it, although how he does it is weird. And so, yeah, it says down here, the final way to enter Teleron Riyadh is only accessible to Wolf Brothers. These individuals can enter through what is known as the Wolf Dream. Which... the Wolf Dream and Teleron Riyadh are supposed to be basically the same thing. So what do you mean that you can enter one through the other? That doesn't entirely make sense. And I don't really see another or a link in here to the Wolf Dream. So there's no real class or specification, clarification is the word I want, on what difference there is, if anything. But if we're going to get started on this, let's do so. Let's get back to this, and we're just going to go like right here and say Teleron Riyadh. Hello, Pips. Good to see you. We are trying to finish this up by making Teleron Riyadh in Pathfinder. So, yeah, wish me luck on this one, because this could get super complicated. Although you be the good one to ask, is there a difference between the Wolf Dream and Teleron Riyadh? Because I don't think there is. And I don't even know. And Pip says 5 watching, only 2 likes. Come on, people, those are rookie numbers. To be fair, I'm one of the 5 people, and even I didn't like my own stream. I can do that now, though. There we go. I liked my own stream. Yeah, and Pip says there's no difference. I didn't think there's no difference, but if we come down here to entering Teleron Riyadh, okay? How do you access it? First off, Dreamwalkers can access it at will. Secondly, there's Turang Rial, and specifically, there's 2 kinds of Turang Rial. Ones that have to be channeled through, ones that don't have to be channeled through. So that's the second way. Otherwise, there's gateways. You can literally open a gateway, like you would travel from Shinar to the White Tower. You can open a gateway from the real world into Teleron Riyadh. But then it says right down here, one final way to enter Teleron Riyadh is only accessible to Wolf Brothers. These individuals can enter through what is known as the Wolf Dream. Which makes it sound like it's a separate entity, but it's like, what do you mean enter through the wolf dream? You're already there. And Tux has made it to the chat. Hello, Tux. Pip says the gateway is to travel there in the flesh, which is different. But here's the thing about that. Perrin can travel there in the flesh, too. Perrin doesn't use gateways. And there's, as far as I know, there's no real explanation for how Perrin does it, except that he just does it. I don't think there was any real explanation for how he did it. He just thought it and did it. So I'm not sure how we're going to make the whole Wolf Brother thing. I think that Wolf Brothers... I don't know. I'll have to think about that one, because Wolf Brothers can absolutely go there in the flesh. I think I'll have to have a special rule for how they do it. Yeah, Pip says, I would argue, though, that there is Luke, but that seems to be a unique power. But it's not a unique power, because Perrin was able to chase him. That was kind of the whole culmination of Perrin's thing. And you say that he was only able to go there because of the thinning of the barriers of reality. I'm not sure I agree with that. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think that whatever Luke was able to do, I think Perrin could do it too. I think that not only could Perrin do that too, I think that's actually what Hopper kept warning him against. Because he was, I think Hopper was trying to warn him that, like, if you keep doing this, you're going to land in the wolf dream, and you might not be able to get back out. I don't know, it's been a long time for me too. Like, I started going through the books again. I'm only on, like, book 3, so I have a long time till I get there. Anyway, though, let's go ahead and start working on this. So, entering. So, obviously, Dreamwalkers can do this at will. So, Dreamwalker at will while sleeping. So, a Dreamwalker, when they're sleeping, can literally just tell me as the game master, hey, I want to go to Teleron Riyadh. And there's really nothing that I can say against it because they are a Dreamwalker and I just kind of have to let them go. The next thing is with Terangrial. So Terangrial. And that will have to be either channeled or not channeled. And that means that we will have to be able to make specific Terangrial or find specific Terangrial. And Pip says, don't forget the important mechanic, being in the dream makes their sleep not as restful, like barely restful at all. I have not forgotten that, we just haven't gotten there yet. Anybody who spends their resting period in Teleron Riyadh will wake up fatigued. As if they've gone a full day without rest. And fatigue, according to the rules here, means that, we come down here to, because we've looked at this before. If we go to conditions, fatigued, here we go. So yeah, anybody who skips their rest time to go to Teleron Riyadh would be fatigued. So a fatigued character can neither run nor charge and takes a -2 penalty, so that's a -1 on rolls, to strength and dexterity. That's also a -1 to your armor class as well, since your armor class is both your armor and your dexterity. So you spend the day, or the night rather, in Teleron Riyadh, you take a -1 to your AC the next day. Doing anything that would normally cause the fatigue character to become exhausted, which then of course requires 8 hours of rest. And exhausted is even worse. An exhausted character moves at half speed, cannot run or charge, takes a -6 penalty to strength and dex. That is a -3 on your attack rolls. That is a -3 to your armor class, a -3 to your reflex save. Not to mention any skill checks that are strength or dex based. Like, exhaustion is nasty. It does take only 1 hour of complete rest for them to become fatigued. However, if you then stress it again, you become exhausted again. Alright, so anyway, don't worry, we haven't forgotten about that. It will be in there. And obviously then there is Wolf Kin, and that is through the Wolf Dream ? Because I'm pretty sure they can just phase shift in there somehow. I'm not entirely sure how it works. Pip said he's going to look it up for me, but pretty sure they can just jump there. I think it's similar to how, while they're in Teleron Riyadh, they can use need to find things, and they can just travel through Teleron Riyadh. I think Wolfkin are able to do that from the physical world to Teleron Riyadh. But I don't know. Either way, these are the ways that you can enter. And so once you're in, then things get interesting. So, characteristics of Teleron Riyadh. Alright, let's start looking at this. So, what happens inside of Teleron Riyadh can have consequences in the real world. Injuries occurred whilst in the dream world can be carried over when the sleeper awakes. That is actually very easy, because that means that you'll go into Teleron Riyadh with your current hit points. You'll come out of Teleron Riyadh with your current hit points. So if you have a total of 60 hit points, and you go to sleep that night with 36, you'll enter Teleron Riyadh with 36. If you get into a fight in Teleron Riyadh, then if you take damage, you'll wake up in the morning with whatever damage you took. So, hit points carry over. And also, no natural healing. Well, no. Natural healing takes a full day of recovery anyway, so yeah. You can't do anything in order to heal naturally. So if you're going to Teleron Riyadh, that's already been nixed. Let's see, what else? This can even result in people dying if they're killed. Yes. Varen mentions to Anaya that injuries sustained while in Teleron Riyadh also did not heal the way it should, which may be a point to the nature of the injuries also being fundamentally different. I don't think that's terribly important. It seems like one of those little things that shouldn't pop up in the game. Because I believe when Varen was mentioning that things didn't heal the way they should, I think she was talking about how injuries in Tel'aran'rhiod tend to leave scars, which, when playing a tabletop game, unless the scars are significant in some way, they're generally ignored. Every adventure has scars. The world is malleable. Now this is important. One can project thoughts to make creatures and buildings. Larger things that are made in this fashion are more difficult to maintain and control than smaller ones. A person with stray thoughts in the world of dreams may have difficulty maintaining their personal appearance, which can cause their clothing to flicker and change. Now that, on its own, is not too important. Not the second part, at least. If things are flickering and changing, that's fine. That's detail, it's fluff. What is important here is that one can project thoughts and to make creatures and buildings. And this is where things are going to get very, very interesting. So, one of the most important parts of Tel'aran'rhiod is that you can literally fabricate anything you want. All you have to do is be able to think it, concentrate on it, and you can make your will manifest. So, how are we going to make this work realistically? Obviously, we're going to have to use... Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you're in Tel'aran'rhiod, strength and dexterity basically don't matter anymore. Because you're as strong as you think you are. And your actual strength doesn't really matter that much. At the same time, though, I can't just ignore strength in general, because Tel'aran'rhiod is a projection of the self. It's kind of like the Matrix. Which means that whatever you believe about yourself tends to carry over. Perrin tends to be just as strong inside of the Wolf Dream as he is outside the Wolf Dream, which is very strong because he knows he is strong. I mean, that's kind of one of the things that makes him so incredibly strong inside the dream, is he doesn't actually know any better. Everybody else is trying to manipulate the fabric of Tel'aran'rhiod to their own gain. Perrin just walks in there and he's like, I don't know, I just do things. It works because I think it will. Oh my god, Perrin runs on orc logic. Perrin's an orc! Wait. Okay, hold on. Now I'm curious. If Perrin plays orcs, what do the rest of them play? Okay, tangent time. This is so a waste of my time, but I can't help it now. Okay, Perrin plays orcs. Nynaeve is Astra Militarum. Nynaeve is Astra Militarum because Nynaeve wants to play with the Inquisitors. Because Nynaeve wants to be an Inquisitor. Let's see. Oh, wait. Rand Ultramarines. Because he basic. Let's see. Egwene is Eldar. Did I just spell her name wrong? I think I just did. Okay, Egwene is Eldari. Wait, I spelled that wrong. I forgot the A. because she's a psyker. This is such a waste of my time. Why am I doing this? Pip says Matt's an elf. Matt is not an elf. Matt plays Tau. Matt plays Tau, and his group is the Red Hand. Matt just picks up different races wherever he happens to be traveling, and he uses them in his army. Who are we missing? I don't know. See, this is why I said I don't need Tux to distract me. I can distract myself. I am fully capable of distracting myself. Now we just need to get somebody to put together like one of those AI things. You know, AI voices, AI video, whatever. Of like the main cast of the Wheel of Time playing Warhammer 40,000. And Pip says Rand is just human. No, Rand is more than human. Rand is superhuman. Rand is the most powerful thing on the planet. That's why Rand gets to play Ultramarines. Okay, anyway. Tux asks, what happens if you go into the Dreamland and then go to sleep in the Dreamland? Absolutely nothing. Like, if you were to go to Teleron Riyadh and then go to sleep in Teleron Riyadh, let's be honest, you'd probably end up dead, to be honest. Because something in Teleron Riyadh would probably kill you, either something or someone. So, quite frankly, you go to sleep in Teleron Riyadh, I'm probably just going to kill your character right there. You had it coming. JP says self-distraction initiated. I can't help it. It just occurred to me. It occurred to me because Perrin operates on the power of belief. However, Pips did say a theory online, still looking, says they can only phase because they have two souls. One in and one out of the dream. Perrin got this ability when he preserved Hopper after Slayer killed him. Wait, did he? I don't remember that. By that theory, a normal wolf brother wouldn't have this ability. Actually, I like that theory. I don't think that should be restricted to just Perrin, though. Maybe that's what makes a wolf brother a wolf brother. Maybe they are literally two-spirited. Pip says he dislikes that theory. No, I actually kind of like that. What if the thing that actually makes a wolf brother is the fact that they are two-spirited? Pip says just reread the text. No, Hopper does. Yeah, I thought Hopper died. But what if a wolf brother is two-spirited? What if they have both the spirit of man and wolf? Which is why wolf brothers are different. It's the spirit inside of them presenting that gives them the golden eyes, that gives them the enhanced senses, and that gives them the ability to access the wolf dream because they are part wolf. I think that's a great idea for explaining, number one, how wolf brothers happen. Because how many other people out there are going to be two-spirited? I mean, not counting, modern day sociocultural dumb stuff. And trust me, I am a furry. I have been dealing with two-spirit people since before it was cool. And guess what? It wasn't cool back then. It's not cool now. It's never been cool. And Pip says Perrin's whole arc is learning that his wolf and man aspects are one and the same and not separate. But that's just it. What if they're one and the same and separate? What if he literally has two spirits and he has to come to grips with the fact that he does have two spirits? He is a two-spirited person. He can't just take half of it and get rid of it. I mean, he's basically a spiritually conjoined twin. Except he's half person and half wolf. I literally just said the word spiritually conjoined twin. Man, the weird things that happen in these streams. Okay, it's my game, I can do what I want, but a two-spirit wolf brother is ex-canonical. It's as canonical as anything else. I mean, it's one of those things that they never really explained. All they told him is that you're a wolf brother. You can't not be a wolf brother. That was the full extent of it. They just said, you can't ignore this part of you. It's part of you. So, I mean, we have no idea how that works. We have no idea what makes a wolf brother any more than we know what makes somebody an Aes Sedai. Or a channeler in general. I mean, maybe during the Age of Legends, they would have been able to identify what makes somebody a channeler and what makes them not a channeler. But nowadays, no one has any idea. Why can some people channel? They just do. We can't explain it. We don't know why. Your mom's a wolf brother. Okay, well, that's fair. I can go with that. Okay, anyway, back to, the mechanics of existing in Teleron Riyadh. Let's see. So, stats are going to stay as stats. However, I think more importantly... what we're going to do is this. So, stats will remain unchanged. But, one very specific thing. We'll be able to substitute a will save for any ability check or skill check. For ability skill checks. Actually, not even just that. Not even just that. So for ability checks, skill checks, basically anything. Armor class? Because if you're in Teleron Riyadh and somebody tries to, I don't know, stab you, if you can just believe that the knife isn't real and that you're not hurt, you're not hurt. I mean, again, I don't want to spoil anything, but, you know, spoilers they gonna be. Perrin in the Balefire. If you don't believe it can't hurt, or if you believe it just can't hurt you, it can't hurt you. So you can basically substitute a will save for anything. If you have to say climb something, and you have to roll your climb skill, but your strength is like 10, so you have no bonus there, and you've got no points into climbing. Well, you could just substitute a will save for the climb check, and if you've got a great will save, there you go. And Tuck says, I suppose there's a difference between a plausible fanfic and a fanfic that just isn't. Canonically, it's unknown why these things happen. Two-Spirit fanfic is a plausible explanation, but it's still fanfiction because it explains the canonically unexplained. Yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff that went unexplained in the Wheel of Time, actually. Of course, the entire idea was that even the people in the Wheel of Time didn't know. Which, honestly, was kind of a brilliant literary move there. That way, Robert Jordan didn't have to explain shit. It's like, yeah, but how does this work? I don't have to tell you anything. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we can do that. Stats remain unchanged. You can substitute a will save for any of this stuff. That also means that if somebody tries to attack you, instead of using your armor class, you could just roll a will save against it. You roll high enough, and there you go. Alright, so that handles your presence in Teleron-Riyadh in general. So then, what else we got to take care of? The world is malleable, one can project thoughts. Right. So, projecting thoughts. Alright. Projection. This means that we basically need to have special crafting rules for Teleron-Riyadh. Now, the things that are made in Teleron-Riyadh usually are small, but just because they're small, I do want to have the ability to make bigger things. And Pip says he has the parent answer. Alright, I'll just wait for him to put it in there. For projection, my initial thought was a wisdom check to make hit points. And so how that would be is if you wanted to make, like, if you wanted to make a sword, you would roll a wisdom check. And if you were able to... roll a high enough wisdom check, you could manifest X number of hit points worth of something. The problem is, though, that means that you could only manifest upwards of 20 to 25 hit points worth of anything, which isn't much. If we come back here and look at... how did we do that before? I think I went into game... mastering, combat. We were looking at sundering. Right, sundering. Hardness of items? Here we go. Yeah, we were looking at this last time. So we can see here that weapons and armor and such things have hit points. So you could manifest a dagger with 2 hit points if you were to just make a wisdom check and manifest it. Actually, this isn't bad. This ain't bad. Manifesting an entire suit of armor might be impossible. Just because, you know, the armor bonus times 5. Well, no, that wouldn't be impossible. That means that if you wanted to manifest some plus 5 armor, you'd have to roll a 25. That's possible. So if you had a 20 in wisdom, that gives you a plus 5 bonus. If you rolled a 20 with a plus 5 bonus, that's some plus 5 armor there. Everything else, you would just have to try. And if it didn't work, then try again. There's really nothing stopping you from doing it. The same thing goes for over here. So let's see. Hit points. So rope has 2 hit points, meaning that if you just wanted to manifest yourself some rope, make a wisdom save. If you roll a 2 or better, you manifest some rope. Manacles are 10. And we do see them do this. We do see them in the books in Talaran Riyadh manifest things like manacles, chains, things like that, to bind people. So this is absolutely kind of canon. Now, hewn stone, yeah, that's not going to happen. But for example, if you wanted to just manifest a strong wooden door, or even a simple wooden door, you could do that. You could just say, oh no, somebody's going to strike me. You could just say, I want to manifest this thing. So projection. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call this a swift action. Now, for those of you not as familiar with Pathfinder, Pathfinder has several actions in it. Free actions are just that. They are free. You can usually do any number of them in battle. To a certain extent. TV Tropes has the page talking is a free action. Talking is generally regarded as a free action. Giving a speech is not. But you can talk as a free action generally. Swift actions are less than a single action. They don't count against you, but you're generally regarded as only 1 swift action per turn. Sometimes 2, depending on what it is, and depending how generous the game master is going to be. So, swift action, you generally get 1. Then there's a standard action, which if you think of it in terms like XCOM, where you get 2 action points per turn, a standard action is 1. And then, of course, a full round action would be 2. Now, according to the rules, you get 1 standard action and 1 move action. And they're supposed to be basically equivalent. I tend to just give you 2 actions and let you use them as you want. Because you can double move as normal. But I will also generally allow people to take 2 normal actions as well, depending on what they are. Like, you can't double attack. But if you needed to, like, pull something out of your pack and attack in the same turn, I generally will allow that. Still provokes attacks of opportunity, but I'm not going to stop you from doing it. The point here being, it's a swift action. Meaning that not only is it not going to necessarily count against your turn, but you can generally do it on an opponent's turn too. And Pips is writing a book. Oh, and Pips also says got to go. I'll read your comment in just a minute, but I'm glad you came here. I was good to see you. I hope you come back for others in the future, even if they're not Wheel of Time related. But we'll see. Anyway, good to have you. What did Pips say, though? Rand made a gateway for Perrin to enter the dream in the flesh. The other times Perrin does it himself is only at Shale Ghul. where the thinning of the pattern happens and the worlds are coming together in the same place. Admittedly, the thinning is a hypothesis, but Perrin explicitly doesn't know how to enter the dream outside the area where reality is being bent around the bore. So the thinning is also possibly ex-canonical, but it is said to be special circumstance near the bore for some reason is canon. Okay, that's fair. That is fair. I like my idea better, though. Wolf Brothers, I like the idea of the Wolf Brothers being to go there in the flesh. Just to make them a little bit more special. Not that they're not special enough already. Wolf Brothers are already broken. But I mean, I'll work on that. So anyway, projection / manifestation. It's going to be a swift action, which means that you can take it on your turn or an opponent's turn. And so, it will be a wisdom check. And that will equal the number of hit points of object created. So if you want to conjure yourself up a sword, you can do that. You want to conjure a shield, you can do that. You want to change your sword into a shield, you can do that. So long as you roll a high enough wisdom check. You can also do clothing, you can do armor, you can do barriers. This could definitely be fun because you just have people going or running around in Teleron Riyadh manifesting things all over the place. However, because these are manifestations, projections of your will, they will be subject to concentration, which is the bane of all magic casters. Nobody likes concentration. It does, however, mean that people with high wisdom should be able to do this more often, and people without it cannot. So if we go to game mastering, I think, and combat, I think concentration should be in here. Oh wait, here we go. Spell components, concentration. So you must concentrate to cast a spell, or in this case, to conjure something in Teleron Riyadh. If you can't concentrate, you can't do it. If you start casting a spell but something interferes with your concentration, you must make a concentration check or lose it. The check's DC depends on what's threatening your concentration. See magic. If you fail, it fizzles with no effect. Okay, so let's go take a look at that. Also, is this a little bit too loud? I feel like this is a little bit too loud. There we go. Okay. So, concentration checks and casting spells. To cast a spell, you must concentrate. If something interrupts your concentration while you're casting, you must make a concentration check or lose the spell. When you make a concentration check, you roll a d20, add your level to it, and the ability score modifier used to determine bonus spells of the same type. In this case, it would be exclusively wisdom. So I feel like I should write that down. Okay, so concentration is going to be 1d20 plus level plus wisdom. And then it tells you that clerics, druids, and rangers add wisdom, bards, they do charisma, finally wizards add intelligence. Not important to this game because practically none of those are in the game. Technically rangers, bards, and paladins are in there, but they don't get their casting abilities. Let's see. Injury. If you take damage while trying to cast, or in this case, manifest, you must make a concentration check with a DC equal to 10, plus the damage being taken, plus the level of the spell you're casting. Okay, so obviously there's no spell levels here. So this will be continuous. And it will be a continuous DC 10. Which means that if you're not in combat, you can just take 10 on it. If you're not in combat, I have no problem with people just taking 10 on something. And JP says, what is the Wolf Dream, Dreaming, Dreamwalking, and Teleron Riad, a Wheel of Time deep dive? To our podcast. Do I want the link? Yeah, go ahead and share that in the Discord, because you can't post links in YouTube's chat, because they're chat Nazis. I can't help that. But yeah, go ahead and throw that in the Discord. I'll take a look at it later. I don't think that we can really use it right now. I'll have to review it, but hey, if we finish this up today and I have to come back to it and make a couple of corrections, I'm actually okay with that. I'm pretty okay with that. So thank you, JP. Alright, now, that is just to continuously manifest something, so let's go ahead and roll a dice. Actually, I have it over here on my other computer, so I can do this. So I'm just going to roll a d20. And I'll add 1d5. Just, you know, for a randomized wisdom score. So 9 plus 3 is a 12. So for the manifesting we're doing right now, we've got 12 points to work with. That means that if we come over here, and I'm just going to duplicate this tab, and we go up to equipment, and we come down here to damaging objects. With 12, we could go ahead and create for ourselves a light metal hafted weapon, okay? Or just a two-handed blade. So we can make like a great axe, okay? So you make your wisdom check, you roll a 12, you can then summon yourself a great axe. Yay, great axe. Hopefully you have proficiency to use it. Because if you don't have proficiency, I don't think even Teleron Riad is going to save you from that. So now, you just have to constantly think about it to make sure that it stays there. However, in combat, you will have to make a DC 10 save just to keep it from winking out. And you'll have to do that every turn. So, take 10 out of combat. And check in combat. JP says then it's just a good axe. Well, it could be a good axe. Now, as for doing things like blocking and such. Actually, do I even need to bother with that? So, let's say that somebody has a bow. And by the way, your equipment comes with you into the dream usually. So if you're sleeping with your sword and you end up in Teleron Riad, you generally have your sword with you. Things that are permanent in the real world tend to be permanent in Teleron Riad. So if it's on your side, it stays with you. And you can just grab it, draw it, do whatever. But so if somebody brought with them a bow and arrow, they fire it at you. You could then, as a swift action, manifest yourself a shield and try to block it. Now, for a shield, it doesn't actually give any kind of armor bonus. It just says a shield. So, I don't know. I'm not sure how we would do that. That's actually a really good point. How would we do that? Actually, I think I have a good idea how we would do that. So weapon and armor. No, weapons don't need to have any kind of bonus on them. We just need to determine how strong armor is. Now, actual worn armor, as it says, is the armor bonus times 5, so that's done for us. But all these shields... all the shields need to have something. Actually, here's what I think I'm going to do. For shields, shield AC will be equal to your wisdom modifier. I don't know if that's broken or not. It seems kind of broken. But I guess we'll see. It's the best I can think of for right now. And JP says there are exceptions. Parents' subconscious made him appear with a hammer instead of an axe. Yeah, everything in Teleron Riyadh is malleable. Even physical things technically are. Like, if you come across a wall, just a solid wall, you can manifest a door inside the wall, or you can just imagine that you're on the other side of the wall. Anything that comes into Teleron Riyadh can be changed. All that I'm saying is that, generally speaking, when you come into Teleron Riyadh, you come in with the things that you have. Perrin's subconscious may have made him appear with a hammer instead of an axe, but the axe came with him. He went down to usually grab the axe, only to find a hammer. The axe became a hammer because he wanted a hammer instead. And as far as Egwene being stripped naked by an Aiel Dreamwalker, well, Egwene spends a lot of time naked with the Aiel. Enough said there. Alright, so shield AC is just going to be equal to your wisdom modifier, however good that is. Weapons will act as weapons. I don't need to add anything more to that. If you swing a sword, it will be same as swinging any other sword. You'll get your strength bonus to it. The difference being here that, of course, you swing your sword at somebody else. They have the chance to then manifest a shield to block you. Or they could use their will save in place of their AC to just ignore your attack. Either way. Combat inside of Teleron Riyadh could get really super weird, and I am here for it. So, I think those are good projection/manifestation rules. And the fact that it does require concentration means that, like, at the beginning of your turn, you have to make this concentration check. Which means that even if you manifested this great axe, and you're, like, beating on somebody, So you have a great axe, they manifested a shield. You swing, they hold the shield up, they block your axe. On your next turn, you go to swing at them again, but you have to roll concentration. And if you fail, your axe is gone. And if they succeed, they could simply turn their shield into a rapier and impale you. Again, combat inside of Tal'Aran Riyadh could be terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And speaking of projection and manifestation, this also has to apply to channeling, unfortunately. So for channeling, it is possible to channel in Tal'Aran Riyadh. And I wonder if we've got some of that on the on this. Let's see, characteristics. The world is malleable. One can project thoughts to make creatures and buildings. Larger things made in this fashion are more difficult to maintain and control than smaller ones. Yes, we already saw that. The key to mastering the world is to remember that it is a dream. If a person accepts something as happening as reality, then the person may become trapped. Conversely, to keep your appearance solid and unchanging, you must focus and think of yourself as real. We're basically just going to roll that all into concentration. Within Tal'Aran Riyadh, light appears to be ambient with no obvious source. One often experiences a constant feeling of unseen eyes watching from every direction. Time is difficult to measure. That's something for the game master to worry about, not so much the players. But they may experience several hours in Tal'Aran Riyadh, where a person would only spend 15 minutes and then wake up to find they had been sleeping for several hours. Yeah, so basically you can't tell what's going on. A person who sleeps for 15 minutes cannot go back in time in the world of dreams. Just a person who spends several hours in Tal'Aran cannot wake up earlier than the original time. You can't go back in time at all. Wolf Brothers seem to have the greatest amount of control, but that's really neither here nor there. Ah, hey, take a look at this! Perrin Abara, for instance, mastered the world of dreams so completely that he can enter and exit it in the flesh simply by willing it so, and manipulate virtually anything within it. Eh? Eh? It's on the wiki. I didn't say it, they did. The only other individual who has shown this sort of mastery of Tal'Aran Riyadh is the dual-souled man known as Slayer. While not a wolf brother, his mastery of the dream world is surpassed only by Perrin due to his own wolf brother nature. And they didn't even mention the boar. Like I said, I think I'm going to make some special rules for wolf brothers to get there. Like, for example, I think that dreamwalkers will be able to bring other people into the dream. But I think that wolf brothers may be able to simply go there without need of a gateway. Which will give them each their own unique way to manipulate it with other people. And then if you're just using a ter'angreal, congratulations, you get to go. Like, I think I may get rid of channeling ter'angreal in general and just say, we have ter'angreal that allow a non-dreamwalker, non-wolf brother to get there. So I'm just going to come back up to here and just get rid of that. There we go. Ter'angreal. Now, in terms of channeling, Reflection of the Waking World, we'll get to that in a minute. The in-between places, Dream Shards, Here is the Wheel, Dreaming, Real World Parallels. Didn't actually say anything about channeling. Let's see. Seemingly, Forsaken it was also presumably not unusual for channelers to be able to do so. Yes, channelers. Ah, here we go. No, wait, that's for the ter'angreal. Let's see, channeler. Is that it? Wow, that's it. That's all there is. Okay, never mind then. And here I thought I was going to get something to work with. Nope, we're doing it all on our own. Okay, so for channeling. How am I going to do this? Because when we have weaves that cost hundreds, I can't just do it the same way. Actually, no. I kind of can do it the same way. Because this means that if we look up here and say that somebody at the absolute highest level of potential would have 1800 stamina, that means that if we were to say, if you wanted to channel, so you go through here and you figure out what you want to do, okay? Let's say you went through this and you say, I want to do a great big fireball. Okay? And I want it to, I want a fireball and I want to do just an absolute ton of damage. I want to do like 4d10 of damage. So I think we said that a fireball would take like an area of 36, I think. No. Wait, maybe? It's a 20-foot radius, so that's an 8 square diameter. 8 times 8 is 48. Cut the corners off. I think it was like 40 then, maybe. So if we call it no, it was 36. It was 36. So we say 36. 36 area. We want the range to be over there, so we do all of that. Then we add up the power. So the form is function plus strength. The function is going to be destructive, so 2 points. Plus the strength. So for 4d10, that's going to be 2 plus 18 is 20 times the area, so 20 times 36. Let me get my calculator out real quick. Um, 20 times 36. I should be able to do this. 720. And then plus the range. So if we wanted to throw it 50 feet away, that's just plus 10. So that's 730. So that's 730 power needed. 730 stamina needed. What if in Teleron Riyadh we just did a wisdom check to say, if you need X amount of stamina to cast this normally, what if we did a wisdom check times 100? And so that will give you the amount of stamina available currently for this. So we have 730 that we need here. And hold on a second. I'm going to make that go away for just a minute. as I pull this up. Okay. There we go. Alright, welcome back to Roll20. So if we know that a fireball is going to cost us 730, we'll go 1d20 plus the 1d5, because I don't know what our modifier is for a wisdom. But if we roll it and then multiply by 100, that means that we have a current pool of 1,400 to draw from, and we can afford it. So what you'll do is you'll create your weave and then attempt to manifest it. And that should work out pretty well. So for channeling, you will create weave. Then you will do a wisdom check times 100. Come on. Equals stamina. And if stamina is greater than or equal to weave, success, else fail. And that should make channeling super easy. And that would also mean that, technically speaking, channeling would not be relegated to just people who can channel. Anyone could do it while they were there, so long as they have the ability to do it. So if you're a fighter who happens to have very low wisdom, maybe you can't. If you have basically no bonus, or a very small one, we just did a random d20. Could a fighter just do it? Yeah, totally happened. So fighter wants to weave a fireball. Fighter just weaved a fireball. Can he do it on his next turn? He can totally do it on his next turn too. Wow, I'm rolling really good today. So yeah, I think that works. And that means that if you just want to throw around the 1 power, that's an option. So I think that's really good. I think that really works. Them's is some good rules. Alright, so that's for you creating things. Either creating weapons, armor, creating weaves, just stuff. But that's not the only thing that Tel'aran'rhiod does. Oh, I forgot to scroll this down. I keep forgetting to do that. Browser has to be all the way down. And the spreadsheet has to be all the way up. JP says, surprise MFer, wizard cast fist. I mean, technically speaking, because the wizard, because anybody can substitute their will save for any skill. That means that if the wizard wanted to punch somebody, instead of doing a normal attack roll, where you have to roll 1d20 plus your strength modifier, the wizard could just use their will save and just go BAM! Oh, that does actually remind me. Physical damage. Okay, physical damage. So damage modifier, strength, or wisdom. Meaning that if you are a fighter and you have like an 18 in your strength, you might want to just go up and just, hit somebody as hard as you can. However, if a wizard wanted to go ahead and actually beat somebody, they could use a will save for their attack roll, and then they could add their wisdom modifier to their punch. Which means, yeah, that could be quite the surprise. But surprise is kind of the name of the game in Teleron Riyadh, because you wouldn't expect a squishy caster kind of person to punch you. Or if they did, you wouldn't expect it to hurt. But you also wouldn't expect the fighter to pull out chain lightning either. I mean, either way, going into Teleron Riyadh to do battle is probably something that nobody is going to come out having a good time. Alright, what else we got? Reflections of the Waking World. So the World of Dreams is a mirror to the waking world, except that it is a non-permanent one. Objects such as geographical formations, forests, and mountains exist. Buildings exist as long as they have been around the real world long enough to create an impression on Teleron Riyadh. And items such as a bowl of food or a letter may flicker in and out before the viewer's eyes. A door in the World of Dreams may appear open 1 second and then shut the next. Wild animals are also part of the world, however, domesticated animals are not. Some people believe this is because of the relationship with humans, that their connection to nature has been severed. Wolves appear to have a particular connection with it, as they're able to enter it at will, and exert some amount of control over it in similar ways. Yeah. Alright, so let's cover the environment then. Let's cover the environment. So obviously, permanent things are permanent. A wall is a wall, it's going to stay a wall. However, any door that you want to get through, so any door at all, so doors, gates, windows, will have a 50% chance to pass through. Meaning that you'll have to roll a D100 basically anytime you want to go through it in combat. I mean, if you're out of combat, you can just obviously wait to go through the door. But if you wanted to go through a door in combat, like say you're fleeing somebody and you want to go into a room, you would have to roll a D100 to get through the door. Or just, a D2, flip a coin. The reason being, you could try to open the door and either the door phases out of your grasp or perhaps it's already open, but when you go to pass through it, the door is now closed. Same thing with gates, same thing with windows. So you only have a 50% chance to just go through the door. Food and letters may flicker in and out of existence. Now, I actually do have something for this. So, instead of this, we're going to come over here to skills. And for skills, we want not this. Hold on. No? Not gather information? Gather information used to be a skill in D&D 3.5. How do we do that here? Is it perception? No. What is it? Skill checks, taking 10. Knowledge? Yeah, okay, so general knowledge. Here we go. Identify, identify, identify. Recognize, no location. Generally speaking, I usually treat knowledge as things that you already know. So probably not this. What about perception? So notice something or something. What I'm looking for is gather information. Is there just a way to gather information? This is all just either notice, either see, hear, smell, touch, taste. It's perception. What about... Is it under diplomacy? It might be under diplomacy. Ah, yes, right there. Gather information. You can use diplomacy. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. To do this, you must spend 1d4 hours canvassing people at local taverns, markets, gathering places. Yeah. So that's good. I am going to just call it gather information, though, because it is easy to do so. Gather information. 50% failure. So you could be trying to gather information and it just disappears on you. Okay. Is there anything else? Let's see. A bowl of food or a letter may flicker in and out of the viewer's eyes. Yes, yes, yes. The in-between places. There is a place between the waking world and Teleron Riab which has no recorded name. One who enters it feels as though they're floating through a sea of stars. Right. We don't need to worry about this because we're not going to be bothering with this. Yeah, we don't need to worry about this. Neither that nor dream shards will be a thing. Okay. So we've got that. So there's the environment stuff. But there's one more thing, and that is traveling. Because traveling in the world of dreams is different. And I wonder if they mentioned it. Did they mention it in here? Apparently no, they don't. Because I can't even see it. I can't even see what's highlighted. Okay, so we know that people can travel inside the world of dreams. They do it all the time. All they need to do is simply look at an area and want to be there, and they can be there. Now, under normal circumstances, this would be super easy. However, because I know that somebody will inevitably try to do this in combat, it needs to have rules. And JP says mainly they can travel to anywhere they have a full memory of. A place they've been to or a place they know. Yes, this is true. They can travel to anywhere they know, or they can travel as far as they can see. For example, Egwene managed to travel from the Aiel Wastes all the way to the White Tower in Teleron Riad in like a single night. Because she would just be able to look far ahead, and travel. And if you know anything about the Earth, and the Wheel of Time is the Earth, so the horizon is 30 miles from you. So if the Earth was just flat, the horizon is 30 miles away. Which means that you can travel 30 miles in the blink of an eye. Which is really fast. And they can do that again and again and again. 30, 60, 90, 120, 150. You can go really fast in Teleron Riyadh. So for traveling, we will say yes. Out of combat, I see no real need for a check. So we will say... Well, no, I can't. I take that back, because there is the chance of failing. There is also the chance of ending up in the wrong place. So for traveling, anywhere known or anywhere visible, wisdom check, and failure by, or failure greater than or equal to 5. What's the word I want here? Teleport, teleport, teleport. Let's see. Mishap is what they call it. You and anyone else teleporting with you have gotten scrambled. You each take 1d10 points of damage, and reroll on the chart to see where you wind up. Okay, well, maybe not quite that severe. Oh, I guess it just says reroll to find out where you end up. So, what is viewed once? Familiarity, off target. Similar area. So you wind up in an area that's visually or thematically similar to the target area. Generally, you appear in the closest similar place within range. If no such area exists within the spell's range, the spell simply fails instead. And JP just says, and wait for another person to pull a Roadrunner. They use glamour or illusion in the distance of a field. Somebody then teleports themselves into a building. You know what? I am the game master, okay? I'm not the one that's going to do it to you. It's going to be one of you that's going to do it to each other because it's funny. And I'm going to take no responsibility for it. Okay? It might be my circus, but you are not my monkeys. Okay, so if failure is less than 5, then failure is going to be a similar area. So on failure, it's going to just be similar area. And I'm going to go ahead and move this down a little bit. And I'm going to say out of combat. And then we'll go ahead and we'll do in combat. So in combat, this will require a wisdom check. Let's see. The wisdom check will give you... Okay, hold on. Let me redo that. Wisdom check equals distance moved in feet. So, we come back here and we do this again. We roll it, and we rolled a 15. That's great, because that means that we can move 3 squares. Oh, actually, hold on. This would be a swift action. And so, as a swift action, you can try to move. And in this case, they could move 3 squares. Just by looking at it and appearing there. Now, appearing adjacent... provokes an attack of opportunity. So if you want to do simply appear behind somebody to try and stab them in the back, then they get an attack of opportunity against you. However, if that attack of opportunity fails, then you still get to stab them in the back. And that's really all we need, because if you're doing it the other way, where you're getting away from somebody, then there's no real attack of opportunity presented there. You just go poof. Unless, of course, it fails. Which I did not add. So, actually, this is going to need a concentration check. So if you want to jump as a swift action, you need to make a concentration check, which is up here. Oh, and the concentration check is going to be a DC 15. DC 15. Which is difficult, but not too bad. It's not too bad. Anybody with a high wisdom should be able to do that. Especially since you get to add your level to it. But this will give you, more mobility options inside of combat. Which, I mean, I fielded arguments before about, it's like, well, why is this why is it so combat heavy? It's like, because that's where the rules are needed. If you guys are just strolling through Teleron Riyadh, we don't need these rules. But the minute something happens, they have to be here. Which means you can go an entire night in Teleron Riyadh, as long as you don't engage in combat, you don't need any of this. But so long as combat is possible, we gotta have it. But there we go. Is there anything else we need? Oh yeah, one other thing. One more thing. Okay, so as we already established up here, there are Dreamwalkers, there's Turok Realm, there's Wolfkin. So Dreamwalkers pull others into Teleron Riyadh. So we're going to need to have rules for this. I'm just going to go ahead and say that if they're a willing person, then there's nothing need to be done. So, willing, no check. Let's see. unwilling, first you'll have to locate them. So you have to locate them, and that will have to be wisdom versus will. Well, no, because they're not aware yet, so they don't get any kind of resistance. So for locating them, you'll need to do a perception check. So perception DC 15. Because somebody who is a Dreamwalker, and only a Dreamwalker, will have to scour the in-between world to find them. And then it will be a wisdom versus will save to try and draw them in. And there we go. That's pretty much all we need, I think. Find them, pull them in. The same thing will also be true for expelling them. It'll be wisdom versus will. So a Dreamwalker will be able to find them and pull them into Teleron Riyadh. However, if things are also going poorly, they could use their skill in Teleron Riyadh, their wisdom, to just push them out. Which would make them extremely powerful inside of Teleron Riyadh. Just being able to either add or remove people at will. I do, however, think that all of these should be full round actions. So let's go ahead and just format this. We'll bridge that. Full round actions. So as a full round action, you could just sit there and try to pull somebody in. Or if you're in a fight with somebody in Teleron Riyadh and maybe you're losing, maybe you got the fighter over there who's bashing swords against shields. You have somebody who is channeling Wheeze, but they just can't seem to do anything about it. You could just say, you know what? You're no longer here. Gone. Extremely overpowered? Yes. However, it's a talent for a reason. There is nothing to add for Terang Rial, so that just leaves Wolfkin. And Wolfkin are capable of entering Teleron Riyadh physically. So we're just going to say they can just... Maybe not at level 1. Maybe we say it like level 10. So we'll say... at level 10... phase in physically, well, phase in and out. Which means that while anybody can, or any channeler can skim, as we did with our rules somewhere over here. It's over here somewhere. Oh yeah, here we go. So we have anyone who can channel can skim. And anybody with the talent can travel. Wolfkin will also be able to do so. But unlike skimming or traveling, they can't take anyone with them. However, that also means that they could do so while awake. So they don't need to sleep to do so. I'm just going to put awake there. Because still, for the Dream Walker to be really effective, they have to be asleep. For an appropriately leveled Wolfkin, they can just go whenever they want. Is it kind of weird? Maybe, a little bit. But everything points to the ability to be able to do it. And there we go. That is Teleron Riyadh. I don't think there's anything else we really have to add to it. We've gone through pretty much everything on the wiki. The only other things that's in here is Dream Shards, which again, don't have to worry about it. Heroes of the Will, don't have to worry about it. Dreaming, which is a talent that seems somewhat like foretelling. That just allows you to see the future. But we already added that under the Dreaming. Or the Dreamwalker. Oh, and that's one other thing. Fighting nightmares. I forgot to add that. So let's go ahead and we'll do this. So we're going to go with Dispel Nightmare. And that is going to be Concentration DC whatever I happen to determine that it is. Okay, don't do that. Here we go. We'll do it this way. So nightmares in Teleron Riyadh are basically just environmental hazards. Like if you had a nightmare that you were in the pit and the pendulum, and that you're being strapped down to like this slab while the pendulum goes back and forth over you, coming down a little bit closer every time. That would be like a dream inside of Teleron Riyadh. And if you get close enough to it, it can suck you in. And then, just like everything else in Teleron Riyadh, you would suffer the consequences of whatever's going in there. And the thing about the nightmares is that once it grabs you, you're in. You like basically lose all control over your environment. You are now subject to its whims. And so nightmares will be able to hurt you. They're basically traps. However, a Dreamwalker will be able to simply disarm the trap. As a matter of fact, I might even do that. Why not? Instead of concentration, what if we go with disable device? While the name might not fit entirely, the purpose does. And again, because this is Teleron Riyadh, even if you don't have a great disabled device, you can substitute a will save in place of that. Which I imagine is probably what would happen. Yeah, I think that works. Was there anything else that we forgot, though? Okay, Wolf Brothers. Kin telepathy, locate kin, dark vision, perception, scent, the wolf dream, which we just got there. Tugging strands, of course, because they get future sight sometimes. They can enter Tel'aran'rhiod, enter individual dreams. We didn't do anything about that, but we've got the ability to pull people in. So that kind of combines those two. Bring others in, kick others out, tugging strands. Yeah, that does it. No, I think we're done. We're actually done. I'm checking it off. Boom. And just like that, I think we have everything. Races, bonding, traveling, crafting, steading, circles, Wolf Brothers, Dreamwalkers, Tel'aran'rhiod, we did Wheeze, Balefires, and we even covered Wilders and their own special thing. We're done here. That is a lot that I have to go through and clean up now and turn this into something presentable. But at least the hard work has been done. How long have I been doing this? It's like 6 weeks, isn't it? Absolutely maddening. Worth it, though. Very much worth it. Someday we'll be able to play this. Currently, the only thing stopping us from getting started right now is I have been trying to build an application form so that I can start gathering people, but I'm kind of overloaded right now, and so it hasn't been high on my priorities. I will get the application forms done so that I can start building a roster and building groups. The way this is going to work is I'm going to send out an application, have people fill it out, and from there, I'll be able to group people by their availability and build groups that can actually work together. Because I can't just take a group of people and say, okay, you're group 1. It's like, well, yeah, but I have one person in Singapore, one person in Brazil, and one person in Finland. Well, it's just not going to work. Usually. So I need to work on the application, then I need to work on building groups. After I've got groups, then I can sit down with a specific group and say, here's the game we're playing, and what do you want to accomplish in it? Because that's how this is going to work. I just come over here real quick. So it will be applications, sort groups by availability, after that, group discussion for story setting goals. After that's done, we will then move into character creation. And once character creation is done, game 0, which is just going through the setting and the campaign and where we're starting with the players, making sure that everybody knows who each other's character is, so they're ready to work together. After that is game 1 campaign. So that's the list of things that will have to happen next before anything further can start. But it is getting closer. It's just, I'm currently stuck on that one right there. That, and I have no idea how/when I'm going to find the time for this, but I'm going to find the time for it. However, I do think that this is going to be the end of the stream for today. It's a little bit of a shorter stream by my normal standards, but we've still been at this for almost 2 hours on Teleron Riyadh alone. Minus the little thing there where we did that. But, I mean, that didn't take long. And I'm not apologizing for it either. Because I think that was funny as hell. So, I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm going to assemble this into a more pleasant to look at form. And once I get that done, I will probably post it in the Discord so that other people can look at it. Share it? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. This is pretty complicated. This is kind of my baby here, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be as willing to share this one out as I was, say, the Star Trek one. But we'll see how I feel about it. At any rate, though, if you've enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I think everyone here already has, but, you know, just in case. I'm literally 1 subscriber away from 300. Tux says, no, you're not allowed to leave. You must make D&D settings forever without pausing. Yeah, but I'm hungry. I haven't had anything to eat yet today. I want food. Can I have food? Please? Food for me? Oh, actually, that does remind me of one thing. Because while we are done with this one, that means that we have something else that we can do. It's tiny now. Why is it tiny? Undo it. I don't want it to be tiny. Okay, format. Font effects. Strike through. There we go. Done. Alright, so, Wheel of Time. I am calling this one done. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and I'm even going to color all of these yellow. We're going to call this one green, because it's done. We did it. Also, apparently I've been saved by a typo. Bureaucracy wins again. Alright, so now that we got that done, what are we going to do next week? We have options. And I even added another one because it's like, I love Transformers. I have been a fan of Transformers since I was like 4 years old. So I added it on there. Why not? But we have Warhammer, Pokemon, Digimon, Final Fantasy, Doom, Magic the Gathering, Transformers, or whatever else you want. So I am putting it to you. Either you pick something, or I'm going to pick for you. And if you're going to keep making me pick for you, sooner or later, we're going to do Teletubbies. And I'm going to make you suffer through it. Because I will be suffering too, but I will get schadenfreude from your suffering in return. So, I will post this also in the Discord, and I will take some opinions there, see what people want to do, see if people, what people want to at least be here for. Either way, though, that's it. That's it. I'm good. I'm done. We're done here for today. So, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell icon if you haven't done so already. If you're still here, hit the like button. Like button's good. I hit the like button. you can too. Otherwise, yeah, that's about it. So leave a like, leave a comment down below. Leave comments either in the comments under this video or comments in the Discord server. If you're not in the Discord server, come join us there. We're not too mean. I'm very mean. I'm very mean in there. The rest of the people, they're not so mean, and so it balances out. You can ignore me though. I mean, you can just put me on ignore, and there you go. Great server. Otherwise, be a perfect server if I wasn't there. So yeah, come join us there. Otherwise, I will see you next week for whatever it is that we're working on. Looks like we've already got a pretty good leaning in one direction. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for coming out. I'll see you next time, and until then, take care.